Mostly clear as we head into the night after we've had a very nice afternoon, and that's putting it mildly. Although it is going to get chilly, though, with those clear skies in place and that calm breeze. We're going upper teens and low to mid-20s for overnight low temperatures. Then as we go into your day on Thursday, we do take a small step backward for the final day of November. A little more seasonable. Upper 30s, a couple of low 40s out there as well. We'll go through the rest of your 7-day forecast, which features a generally mild start to December coming up in a bit. Until then, First to 4 starts right now.
Live from KELOLAND Media Group. KELOLAND News, first at 4.
What we know so far about the search in an area where authorities have looked before for a woman who's been missing for 10 years.
Plus, a local restaurant is asking for your help, making sure every kid in the Sioux Falls School District has breakfast and lunch.
And later, while there is not much snow in the forecast, safety officials are still reminding you to prepare your home and car for winter. Good afternoon, and thanks for tuning in to First at 4. I'm Don Jorgensen.
And I'm Kelly Volk. Authorities are searching a piece of land along the James River northeast of Huron. The search comes about 10 years after the disappearance of Rachel Syriacs. Crews are in an area where authorities have searched for the missing woman in the past.
Syriacs was last seen in November of 2013 when she picked up her husband from jail. Authorities say that Brad Syriacs was the last person to see her, but he's never been charged in connection with her disappearance. 10 years later, authorities are still looking for Rachel.
Earlier this month, South Dakota Attorney General Marty Jackley confirmed law enforcement have not given up on finding her. KELOLAND News reached out to Jackley for comment on the search. He responded by saying, quote, "We are continuing to receive and follow leads on the 10-year anniversary of Rachel's disappearance and will make announcements on any significant discoveries," end quote.
And coming up on KELOLAND News at 5, Summer Roddershot tells us what she saw during today's search. A Pine Ridge man is headed to prison for a deadly shooting earlier this year. A judge sentenced Trent Brewer to more than 16 years behind bars. He previously pleaded guilty to second-degree murder for the April 1st death of Alec Dillion. Court papers say that Brewer and Dillion had been drinking when they got into an argument. They ended up walking to Brewer's house where things escalated. Brewer pulled out a gun and shot Dillion multiple times. Brewer was later arrested in Rapid City.
Governor Kristi Noem has offered to testify in support of federal legislation that is intended to protect U.S. farmland and sensitive sites from China, Russia, and 5 other nations. U.S. Representative Mike Gallagher of Wisconsin is the sponsor of the legislation. Noem's office says she sent a letter to Gallagher suggesting that his legislation be combined with the National Defense Authorization Act and offering to testify. Lawmakers in South Dakota rejected legislation that was intended to make foreign ownership of agricultural properties more difficult in the state.
Well, is it late November or late October?
I'm not sure.
It's really nice out there today.
Yeah, it felt nice, Adam.
It really has been a beautiful day outside. We have ample amounts of sunshine. Temperatures were 10 to 15 degrees above average for this time of year, even towing the line of 20 degrees above average. But we do take a small step backward as we get ready to close the month of November tomorrow. Right now, though, beautiful view of the somewhat frozen lake in Laverne. That ice is nowhere near thick enough yet. And with the milder temperatures on the way as we head into December, we're going to have to wait a little while longer before ice fishing becomes any kind of a topic of discussion. Meanwhile, in Watertown, 47 with a south wind at 6 miles per hour. We have had a beautiful day today, let's face it. And also what has helped out, it hasn't been all that windy. 50 at the airport, 56 in Chamberlain, 53 for Pierre, now up to 54 for Phillip, matching Rapid City, 50 for Spearfish, 46 Pine Ridge, 49 as you head toward Aberdeen as well as Brookings. And compared to yesterday, we still did better, at least along and east of the I-29 corridor, especially roughly 10 degrees warmer, give or take, slightly cooler, and I do mean slightly. Rapid City, Buffalo, and Mobridge, 1 and 2 degrees cooler, but still, overall, it has been a pretty warm for this time of year and pretty quiet as well. Yes, there is an upper level trough axis with that dashed brown line there basically over southern South Dakota, but That's basically there for show. We could just basically ignore that. And for all intents and purposes, we have absolutely nothing to talk about for the rest of the day. But as we head into tomorrow, I did mention we do have some change on the way, and it's mainly seen on the thermometer. We have 50s today. We're going to struggle to hit 40 tomorrow, but this is a lot closer to average for this time of year. It'll be a little bit breezy as well, but this is a lot closer to where we should be for this time of year. And it doesn't matter on what side of the river you're going to be on tomorrow. We're talking about widespread 30s, but with a good amount of sunshine. We'll go through the rest of your 7-day forecast as we head through the hour.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Adam. The Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services is now going over feedback about the state's new law concerning gender-affirming care for minors.
The Let Them Grow Act restricts gender-affirming care for transgender Nebraskans under 19. John Grinvalds with our CBS affiliate in Lincoln takes us to the public comment meeting.
The issue that set the legislative session on fire didn't burn so brightly today. Chairs set for 250 barely sat 30 people at a time, but the pleas were no less passionate.
I would just ask that these regulations be rethought.
Banning gender-altering surgeries for minors, LB 574 gave the reins of gender-affirming care rules to the DHHS, and in October, that entity put temporary emergency regulations in place that, among other things, required several hours of therapy before being allowed to get care, something many testifiers say is a big hurdle to jump.
They're being told that this type of care can only be provided once a person has gone through 40 hours, which can be as around $10,000 of care.
Today, the DHHS held a public hearing as they look to finalize those regulations. I'm told a few people did show up to testify against the regulations because they say it doesn't go far enough. They want to see a total ban on gender-affirming care for minors in the state, but they weren't here when we were here, so we didn't get a chance to talk. But the vast majority of people spoke against them, saying these rules make it harder to be trans. William Manhart is a father of 2 trans kids. His 11-year-old came out early in life.
We thought, as any parent would, this is just a phase. She'll grow out of it. We're going to support him in whatever he wants to do throughout life.
He says he's afraid these regulations will make it much harder to get his child the care he needs. In total, 77 people testified today, and the DHHS will review all of that testimony before making the regulations final. Reporting in Lincoln, John Grinvalds, 1011 News.
This past legislative session, South Dakota lawmakers passed the Help Not Harm bill. It prohibits certain types of care for transgender youth. Minors currently undergoing gender-affirming care have until December 31st to stop taking the treatments.
Several families are suing to stop Iowa's new law that bans some school library books and gender identity discussion. Under the law, educators are forbidden from raising gender identity and sexual orientation issues with students through grade 6. School administrators are also required to notify parents if students ask to change their pronouns or names. The law's section that bans books depicting sex acts from school libraries includes an exception for religious texts like the Christian Bible. The American Civil Liberties Union of Iowa says the law, quote, seeks to silence LGBTQ students, erase any recognition of LGBTQ people from public schools, and ban books with sexual or LGBTQ content.
A huge donation will help fight homelessness in Iowa. Central Iowa Shelters and Services received a $2.5 million donation from the Centene Foundation and Iowa Total Care. The donation will be paid over the course of 2 years. Now, the money will be used to fund what is calling the Housing Command Centers. The first one will be built in downtown Des Moines.
Housing Command Center takes an emergency management approach, no different than a tornado or a derecho or a flood. One of the first things they do is create a by name list of everyone experiencing that event. And by deploying the right service of putting a roof over their head, providing clothing and food to Iowans in their moment of need, it just made sense.
The money will also fund a new app. It's going to be appearing to offer real-time information on housing, food, medical care, and other resources.